Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into one of the most chilling urban legends of all time, the Vanishing Hitchhiker. This story has haunted roads and highways for decades, leaving drivers with more questions than answers. So buckle up as we explore the truth behind this ghostly tale. The Vanishing Hitchhiker is not just a story. It's a phenomenon that has been reported in various forms across different cultures and regions. It taps into our deepest fears and curiosities about life, death, and the unknown. As we journey through this legend, we'll uncover its origins, variations, and the psychological elements that make it so compelling. So, what exactly is the Vanishing Hitchhiker? At its core, it's a ghost story that revolves around a mysterious figure who appears on the side of the road, seeking a ride. But as we'll see, the implications of this encounter go far beyond a simple ghostly apparition. It raises questions about our beliefs in the afterlife, the connections we make with strangers, and the stories that linger long after we've parted ways. In this video, we'll not only recount the classic tale, but also explore its cultural significance and the real-life encounters that have left people questioning their own experiences. So, let's get started and unravel the mystery of the Vanishing Hitchhiker. The legend typically begins on a lonely stretch of road, where a driver spots a young woman, dressed in white, standing by the side of the highway. The setting is often eerie, with dim streetlights, casting long shadows, and the sound of the wind, rustling through the trees. Feeling a mix of curiosity and concern, the driver pulls over to offer her a ride. As she climbs into the car, the atmosphere shifts. The driver notices her ethereal beauty, but there's something unsettling about her presence. They begin to chat, and she shares her name, often a name that sounds familiar or has a nostalgic ring to it. She might mention a party she is heading to, or perhaps she speaks of a place that holds special significance to her. The driver, captivated by her charm and the mystery surrounding her, feels a strange connection forming. However, as they approach the destination she mentioned, the atmosphere becomes increasingly tense. The driver glances over to ask her a question, but to their shock, the seat beside them is empty. The young woman has vanished without a trace. Confused and unnerved, the driver pulls over, trying to make sense of what just happened. It's only when they reach the location she mentioned that the truth begins to unfold. Often, the driver learns that the woman they picked up was involved in a tragic accident years ago, perhaps on that very road. She is a spirit, forever seeking a way home, and her story serves as a haunting reminder of the fragility of life. This twist is what makes the Vanishing Hitchhiker so compelling. It's not just a ghost story, but a tale of loss, longing, and the unresolved connections that linger after death. The variations of this story are numerous. In some versions, the hitchhiker is a soldier returning home, while in others, she might be a bride on her way to her wedding. Each retelling adds layers to the narrative, reflecting the cultural context and the fears of the time. The common thread, however, remains the same: a fleeting encounter that leaves a lasting impact, both on the driver and the audience. As we delve deeper into this legend, we'll explore how it has evolved over the years and the psychological elements that make it resonate with so many. But first, let's take a closer look at the origins of the Vanishing Hitchhiker and how it became a staple of urban folklore. The Vanishing Hitchhiker legend has roots that stretch back to the early 20th century, with reports emerging from various parts of the world. One of the earliest documented cases comes from the United States in the 1930s, where similar stories began to circulate among travelers. These tales often featured a young woman in white. A motif that has appeared in folklore across many cultures. The archetype of the ghostly hitchhiker can be traced back even further, with similar stories found in European folklore, where spirits would seek help from the living, often leading to tragic revelations. In the United States, the Vanishing Hitchhiker became particularly popular in the post-World War II era, a time when many were grappling with loss and the impact of war. The story resonated with those who had experienced the sudden loss of loved ones, making it a poignant reminder of the connections that transcend life and death. As the legend spread, variations began to emerge. In some versions, the hitchhiker is a young girl who was killed in a car accident while trying to get to a dance or a party. In others, she might be a bride who never made it to her wedding, forever searching for her lost love. Each retelling adds a unique twist, but the core elements remain consistent: a mysterious figure, a fleeting encounter, and a tragic backstory. Interestingly, The Vanishing Hitchhiker has also been adapted into various forms of media, including films, books, and television shows. These adaptations often take creative liberties, but they all maintain the essence of the original tale. The story has become a cultural touchstone, reflecting societal fears and the human experience of loss. Moreover, the legend has inspired countless discussions about the nature of ghosts and the afterlife. Many people who have encountered a vanishing hitchhiker report feelings of unease, as if they were part of something larger than themselves. This phenomenon raises questions about the boundaries between life and death, and whether our spirits linger in the places we once inhabited. As we continue to explore this legend, we'll look at some real-life encounters that have been reported by individuals who believe they've experienced the Vanishing Hitchhiker firsthand. These stories add a layer of authenticity to the legend, blurring the lines between myth and reality. Now, let's delve into some real-life encounters that have been reported by individuals who believe they've experienced the Vanishing Hitchhiker phenomenon. These stories often share striking similarities, despite occurring in different locations and times. One notable account comes from a truck driver in Texas who picked up a young woman on a desolate stretch of highway late one night. She was dressed in a white dress and seemed disoriented. As they drove, she shared her story about needing to get home to her family. The driver, feeling a sense of urgency, drove as fast as he could. However, when he reached the address she provided, he turned to ask her if she was okay, only to find the seat empty. Shaken, he stepped out of the truck and approached the house, where he learned from the residents that a young woman had died in a tragic accident years ago on that very road. This encounter left him questioning everything he thought he knew about life and death. Another chilling story comes from a couple who were driving through a rural area in the Midwest. They spotted a young woman standing by the roadside, looking lost. They stopped to offer her a ride, and she climbed into the back seat. As they drove, she spoke softly, sharing her fears and dreams. When they reached their destination, they turned around to speak to her, only to discover that she had vanished, leaving behind only a faint scent of flowers. These encounters often evoke a mix of fear and fascination, prompting those who experience them to reflect on the nature of existence and the possibility of spirits lingering among us. Many believe that these stories serve as a reminder to cherish our connections with others, as they may transcend even the boundaries of life. As we explore more of these real-life accounts, we'll also discuss the psychological aspects of why people are drawn to ghost stories and what they reveal about our collective fears and hopes. The Vanishing Hitchhiker legend, like many ghost stories, taps into deep-seated psychological themes. It speaks to our fears of the unknown, the loss of loved ones, and the desire for connection. Ghost stories often serve as a way for people to process grief and trauma, allowing them to confront their fears in a safe and controlled environment. By sharing these tales, we create a communal experience that can foster empathy and understanding. Culturally, the Vanishing Hitchhiker has become a symbol of the transient nature of life. It reflects our collective anxieties about mortality and the unresolved stories of those who have passed. In many ways, these stories serve as cautionary tales, reminding us to be mindful of our surroundings and the people we encounter. Moreover, the legend has been a source of inspiration for filmmakers, writers, and artists. The themes of loss, longing, and the supernatural resonate deeply, allowing creators to explore complex emotions through the lens of horror and mystery. This has led to a rich tapestry of adaptations that keep the legend alive in popular culture. Interestingly, The Vanishing Hitchhiker has also sparked discussions about the nature of belief and skepticism. While some people wholeheartedly believe in the supernatural elements of these stories, others approach them with a more critical eye, seeking rational explanations for the phenomena. This dichotomy adds another layer of intrigue to the legend, as it invites audiences to question their own beliefs about the afterlife and the existence of ghosts. As we wrap up this segment, let's take a moment to reflect on how these stories impact us personally. Have you ever experienced something that made you question the boundaries between life and death? Or perhaps you have a ghost story of your own to share. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the haunting tale of the Vanishing Hitchhiker. Whether you believe in the supernatural or view these stories as mere folklore, they remind us of the connections we share and the mysteries that surround us. If you enjoyed this exploration of ghost stories and their cultural significance, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more intriguing content. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We would love to hear your experiences and thoughts on the Vanishing Hitchhiker, or any ghost stories you might have. Share them in the comments. Until then, sweet dreams. If you can sleep.